Cool. So, welcome back to another session of Call of Cthulhu. I'm sorry if my energy's a little bit low. I'm not doing the best at the moment, so but I'll attempt to get through this without issue. In our last session, we were first introduced to Tom's new character, a Mr. Randolph Silsford, as he attempted to sell a miracle health product to a local store in Boston, Massachusetts, a harbour emporium, a bit unsuccessfully, before he received an invitation. We then saw the scene transform as we saw a more familiar face, our good friend Oggy, who found himself on the doorstep of the late Milton Butterfield's wife, where he informed Eunice of a fate that beheld Milton, but perhaps not quite the truth of the matter. But as a result, he received Milton's lucky baseball card collection. We then saw the scene transform again as we met with Joe as he tried to live in a state of denial, almost happily spinning tales of his adventures, not quite dealing with the horror that he experienced, but choosing to somehow enjoy the excitement of it all, much to his grandmother and his friends at the bar's amusement. However, we then saw Joe deal with the slow unravelling of his own sanity as the noodles in his pot gradually transformed into what looked like snakes for a moment. We then saw Tala as she briefly met with Josh Winscott, who was clearly suffering, and he let Tala know that he'd decided to check himself in to a local medical care facility. We then saw all our characters meet at the funeral of Milton, where they not only met Mr. Randolph Silsford, but an introduction was made between another old companion, Mr. Merriweather, the man who started all this investigation and these adventures, sending you down this path. And so, as we did that, we saw that Oggy had received 2 letters seemingly from Josh, but quickly determined that something was quite wrong, as the first letter was more obviously from Josh, a cry for help, saying something was wrong at Danvers mental institution. Yet the second one was a typed letter, unusual for Josh, since he swore off typewriters. He was not a fan of them and preferred handwriting his own work before getting an editor to type it for him before publishing it in the magazine articles he is well known for. And so Oggy presented this to the group, and, well, with concern, you made a joined effort to travel up to Danvers. With Joe at the wheel, it was only a half an hour's drive up to the local mental institution. And so you might as well check in on your old friend and see what's going on. However, upon arriving, the atmosphere was wrong. Something was not quite right in the air. Randolph was the most to sense it. And as you entered, there were some strange things you witnessed. You met with a nurse who had seemingly half her ear chewed off. You met with the superintendent, Dr. Berger, a quite unfriendly man would be the best way to describe him, who had a strange painting depicting George and the Dragon, St. George, on the wall of his office, but in an unusual macabre style, unabashedly gruesome. However, with some slight deception and charm on behalf of our Tala here, you managed to get her and only her to see Josh, since Dr. Berger would not allow anyone but family to see him, claiming that he was suffering from neurosyphilis, which Randolph correctly identified was not the common diagnosis to put someone in the higher security ward, which they had done to Josh. You, after meeting with Josh, you said to Tala that something is very wrong within the state hospital. The patients are kept like prisoners, and they're very afraid of the staff, especially Dr. Berger. Josh expressed his desire to leave the hospital, and that was when he was consigned to the highest security ward. Before his banishment to J Ward, Josh was threatened by Dr. Berger, in a way, saying that he was in for quite an experience when the sky prepares to welcome the new moon. This was understandably very unsettling for Tala to hear. And as she was swiftly transported back throughout the different wards, she noticed a strange sight as she witnessed multiple patients drawing what looked like a multi-eyed toad-like dragon creature. Different patients in different wards, all drawing the same thing. Whilst the rest of you waited for Tala, Oggy, of course, being chucked out for pushing perhaps Dr. Berger's buttons a little bit too hard, Joe witnessed something through the window of a door into what looked like a bathroom with a sink that he could have sworn he saw a tentacle emerge. Afterwards, you convened outside, and Oggy and Joe both noticed that something was off about the water here. It had this strange blue, greeny sheen about it. At any rate, as you gathered, you realised that with Tala's information from Josh that by the new moon, they of course meant, well, the rising of the new moon, which is approaching in 3 days' time. So our investigators are at a bit of a quandary. Do you follow Dr. Berger's orders and leave Josh imprisoned as he is? Do you find a way to free him, potentially conflicting with the law? Either way, it seemed that you might need to learn a little bit more about Danvers to get yourself at a better advantage. For if you were to spring a break out, perhaps Joe suggested that finding a map of the state hospital itself might be beneficial. And so with that in mind, I'll move you over to the what I'm going to use as our investigation page. Turn the music up a little bit for me. We'll see. Only 1 second. Where is this? Apologies, just trying to find something. Okay, cool. So, there was a few places that you thought might be good places to learn more about Danvers Hospital history. You could go to local libraries and historical societies, perhaps the Library of Danvers or Phillips Library at Peabody Essex Institute. There's the Danvers Historical Society itself, and there's the Danvers Town Hall, which is likely to contain maps and overview of building plans of the area. Perhaps you even might think to look at local newspaper offices such as the Danvers Herald or Salem News that might keep information in the morgue archives at their particular holdings. What do you think our investigators would be doing, and what would you like to do? This is a very sort of free-form, open part of Cthulhu, the investigation stage. We can always cut to individual scenes as they happen, but yeah.
Should we give it maybe 2 days look, and then on the 3rd day we go back?
Is that cutting it a bit short? I don't know.
Cutting it a bit close, but yeah. I don't know. We'll see how much info we get on the first day, I guess.
Yeah, I think we got to react to what's in front of us. We might find something and be like, "Oh, fuck, time to go."
Yeah.
But Randolph's library skill is not great.
I know what I want Oggy to do. I'll tell everyone first. Oggy wants to go to the town hall and check out employment records. See anyone who used to work there but doesn't anymore. Then go find them.
Very
Randolph
interesting. Okay, so we've got Oggy's first efforts. So let's begin with that. So let me have a quick look at my notes. Yeah, I think this makes sense. Yeah, make me let's say a library use. Well, you arrive at the town hall. Getting employment records certainly wouldn't be impossible, but it's I think it's certainly, let's say, just trying to work out whether that would be sort of public information. I suppose it would be.
Depends how often the census is open.
Yes, that's very true. Well, I think public information. Let's just do a library use check, because a failure. Would you like to push that roll at all?
Is that where you roll it?
It means you roll again, but if you fail, then there will be a guaranteed negative consequence. So, with a failure in Cthulhu, that doesn't mean you don't find anything. I will add that, but I want to preface it is a failure. So it depends how long or what more you might want to do to push this search further.
I don't think it's very likely he'll. But is the consequence limit to
What is
this scene? or is it anywhere?
No, it's limited to sort of this scene, more or less.
What does everyone else think I should do? I
Well,
don't think I should.
I was gonna say Randolph liked Oggy's idea, so he probably would have gone with him, and much more than doing the hard work himself. Randolph would have tried to kind of sweet talk the admin person in charge of all the documents to look through themselves.
Oh, very interesting. I like that a lot. Make me well, I'll let you decide how you think Randolph would approach this, with a charm or persuade. Charm is more, or perhaps even fast talk. Charm is more directly charming the person through sweet talk and such. So
Yeah, I think it feels like a charm to me. Feels
okay,
like a charm.
I'll say have a bonus die because
Ooh.
you're quite a charming individual. Okay, so that would be I can always forget
That's
how.
bad, right? Doesn't that make it 100 or does it make it 0?
I always forget how it works because it changes the 10. So
Yeah.
that would be at 100, I think, which is
Yeah.
but because it's a bonus die, it is just still a regular
Yeah.
failure.
Take the 60.
Would you like to push the roll in any way? You would have to change your approach slightly and tell me how you are changing your approach.
I think Randolph, after kind of coming up short on the charm, I imagine a sort of stony-faced administrator and his smiley, slightly slimy ways aren't really working. He'd kind of switch it and be like, now listen here, I'm a lawyer from blah 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 and I need you to get this from me. But he'd be completely bullshitting, but he'd change it to that kind of way. So I would switch to like a fast talk rather than
Oh, I like
charm.
that a lot. Yeah, roll me a fast talk check.
No regrets!
An extreme
Okay.
success. Very good. We went from a fumble on a bonus die to the complete opposite with an extreme success for Randolph.
Woohoo!
So this stony-faced individual at the town hall, a balding man in his probably mid to 60s, getting very close to retirement, very reluctant to provide you with the details at first, but with a bit of intimidation and a bit of that fast talk that Randolph is so accustomed to. You manage to convince this man to more quickly get you access to the files you need. And are you approaching it the same way that Oggy thought, with trying to see previous employees that no longer work there?
Yeah, Randolph's. He's just trying to get Oggy's idea done, but in his own way.
Interesting.
So,
Okay, so after searching through, you do find a related to it, which is a census, like Kieran was saying, with a certain name attached to it. You find mention of the former Danvers superintendent, a Dr. William Shine. With this extreme success, you find a few other things, though.
Shit.
You find that Dr. Shine, you find a news article attached to his name, from sort of searching as you do, as I imagine he would want to learn more about Mr. Shine, or Dr.
Sure.
Shine. You find a number of bits of information, though, about himself. You find that Dr. Shine is a native son of Ceylon. He ran the Danvers Asylum from 1890 to 1915. He was a lifelong bachelor who seemed to really care for the people in his care and in his life. And unfortunately, he died soon after his retirement in 1916 of natural causes. Prior to his tenure at Danvers, you also find that Dr. Shine was a medical doctor and a world traveller. His excursions took him to exotic destinations across the globe like Africa and Asia. Rare for his time, Dr. Shine credited the native peoples he encountered as having valuable knowledge that could benefit the modern world. The asylum, you also note that in your search for bits about Dr. Shine's reputation at Danvers, more connected directly with that, you find that the asylum actually had quite a dark reputation before Dr. Shine took over. The asylum was rife with accidents, it had lax discipline and a low patient recovery rate, but Dr. Shine turned things around, and during his 25-year tenure, the asylum rebounded to become a model treatment centre. And when Dr. Shine retired, he donated his personal and professional papers to the archive at Salem Hospital. Is what you learn.
Very cool. Okay.
Augie would be like, I'm glad you did that, otherwise I was going to splash this badge and try and force my way in.
Well, sometimes there's a place for a more delicate touch.
So you would
I'm
also...
not about delicate.
You'd also find this is the article I was talking about, Tom, that you'd find just a reference of his retirement from Danvers Asylum, which more or less gives the information that I provided you with, but yeah.
So this is 16 years after this guy, right?
Yes, so we would currently be, I think the current year is 1923 or 24, so like, so he died in 1916, he retired in 1915, so we're about sort of almost 10 years after his retirement and about 8 or 9 years after his death.
Augie point at a bit where it's like exotic and where was it? And his ability, and he transformed the asylum. And he'd be like, I wonder if he started whatever's going on in there off, or something happened later.
Maybe. It's interesting, the disc. A decorative granite disc. Did we see a disc when we were there before, Natalie?
You didn't know.
Wait, where's the disc? What paragraph's that in?
The
There. Okay, that's it.
second one. But more importantly, there's a little bit of a paper trail we could chase down. The Salem Hospital they got here is a personal and professional papers.
Guess that's our next target. Well done for getting in here. I was at a loss.
I was following your lead, detective. He give you a bit of a shit-eating grin.
Augie doesn't notice. He's like, well, thanks a lot. Should we tootle on down to the
Yeah, I think we're done here for now.
Augie would be like, thank you, sir, to the guy at the desk.
Yeah, he sort of rolls his eyes and watches you leave as you gather your things. Is there anything Joe or Tala might have been doing whilst Augie and Randolph sought this avenue of...
I don't think so with Tala. I think she might kind of scope the perimeters of the hospital if she can, because I don't personally think going back in there and trying to break him out now is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Makes sense.
thinking it will happen. Yeah, because I'm guessing if someone's been there and is acting weird, they're going to be more vigilant. Whereas if we go back at a later point, they won't be on guard. Is what I figured. So yeah, she'd be kind of looking for a way in.
Okay, so she's just literally sort of scoping out the mental institute itself at Danvers.
Trying to be subtle about it, I think.
Okay, interesting.
What would you be doing, Hannah? Would Joe Brown be doing anything in particular?
Yeah, he's gonna be driving around doing
Oh,
stuff.
right, okay.
But
Don't
you can
worry
do
then.
yours first, don't worry.
No, I was only gonna say that if Joe wasn't doing anything, Tyler might make him walk with her, so they could pretend to be like having a stroll when really she's kind of
Oh,
scoping
cool.
it out. But it doesn't matter if he
Joe's
was
not
doing
very
something.
stealthy, no.
Okay, interesting. Well, in that case, then let's say, Tala, whilst you're scoping out the area, do you want to make a spot hidden check for me?
Mm-hmm. Miss Tyler Ray. Sorry, it's just opening my character sheet for the first time.
It's okay.
Spot hidden. There we go. Oof.
So that is a fumble, in fact. So that
Oh,
is
damn.
very
Good game,
bad.
Josh.
Uh-oh.
Scoping around the asylum is risky business for Tala. And whilst trying to remain undeterred, unfortunately, you do find yourself spotted by someone. A local guard securing the area around the hospital. You probing a little bit too close. Yet strangely, you find this guard simply just stares at you from across what looks like a sort of, I imagine you being on the other side of a fence, sort of checking the local area for any particular ways you might get in. This guard stares at you, and you look back, and this deeply begins to unsettle you. Can you do a sanity check for me?
No, I'm afraid I cannot. Yep, success.
Success. You lose 1 point of sanity
Oh,
as this guard just stares at you. Keeps staring for longer and longer. Their eyes just fixed on you, but not reacting to what you are seemingly doing. And the more you remain here, the more you think, I need to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And soon, Tala finds herself moving away from the hospital itself. Perhaps a different avenue will be more successful. As our scene switches and we join Joe. Joe, what are you doing?
Joe is gonna go probably just get more of a general local feel for what the hospital's reputation is.
Okay.
By driving people around in his taxi. Medical people, psychologists,
Okay.
doctors, see if they've seen any of the patients come down.
So how are you? Are you waiting like near the hospital to see if? Okay.
Go in, wait around, do what taxis do, and then also go in and see if he can establish like a business type thing with them as well. Short term.
Okay, so you're focusing on the hospital itself more than you're just trying to find. Give me more exact what you're trying to do, because it's quite vague at the moment. I'd say. Are you just trying to?
One thing I'd ask is, are you doing the actual mental institution or other hospitals and things in the nearby city?
Mostly in the nearby city, I think.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
he wants to,
Okay.
what the locals want to think about the hospital itself. Like whether they get a weird feeling from it and stuff like that, or if they've seen any patients come down from there. So
Okay,
wherever people
interesting.
like
Okay, I think that makes sense. Make a just do a either persuade or charm check for me. whatever you think might be more appropriate.
So he'll be giving them sort of like lifts and things like that, but
Mhm.
like obviously because it's
Yeah,
actually,
there would
but
at the
he's
local
not gonna.
at the local hospital. There would definitely be people who are looking like nurses who get off their shifts late,
Yeah,
who would be needing taxi services. So let's
yeah.
say
But
you in.
what I mean is, he's not gonna be like, hey, that hospital up there is, what do you know about that? Or you're not probing like that, but he'll just be talking about it generally, like, oh,
What
that
would?
hospital up there is weird type thing.
Yeah, as a
Casual, yeah,
conversation.
casual conversation.
Okay, let's say a charm check.
Okay.
So with Joe's demeanor not being particularly exciting, you do encounter a number of nurses mostly in your times, and after a long shift at the local hospital, most of them simply just want to be left alone, and you sort of try to entertain things of, oh, this is, this hospital's so weird, my my friend is in there and I don't like it, and sort of maybe saying probing kind of conversation starters like this. Most of the nurses simply say, I've heard it's got a bad reputation in more recent years. Don't know if it's weird itself. Most of them just kind of smile and agree with you, but they confirm that it's perhaps a darker reputation.
Okay.
But you do not learn much more than that as you continue driving around. If you want to keep driving around, we can sort of cut back to you and see if you learn anything more in a future attempt.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll cut back to Oggy and Randolph then, as you approach the local hospital in Boston, looking to find more information about Dr. Shine. The papers at Salem Hospital, you think probably lie somewhere in the archives of the hospital. There's a number of approaches you could make here. You could approach with a persuade, charm, fast talk, or even a law check. That would be to sort of get access to the archives themselves. But there's other options as well. You could think about trying to break in and sneak into the archives itself. How are you planning to approach this as a duo?
Yeah, I think Randolph would be chatting to Oggy about it on the way over. What was Oggy's rank as in the military period?
Colonel, I think.
Colonel. Ooh.
Yeah.
He'd definitely be referencing that. He'd be like, so how are we gonna approach this one, Colonel?
I had an idea. Not sure if it's the smartest. But I do have my camera in the back. If you could do your little fast talking, persuasive demeanor, that we're gonna do a little photo shoot in there. Try and look demure for the paper or something like that. And maybe that
Play
could
the
get us in.
reporter.
Exactly. And I could be a cameraman.
Photo shoot of the archives themselves.
Well, you in the archives, looking very scholarly. We need we need a believable background. Where else are we gonna find one that's of such high prestige? Maybe it's for a medical paper or something like that. I don't know. I don't read them.
The journal.
Yeah, journal. That sounds good. That sounds believable.
All right. I like it.
I'll just hug this thing out.
Yes, you Just play along when I point to you.
Might lend some credence to a story. This thing wasn't cheap.
You don't have a pad of paper, a pencil?
I assume you would.
Yeah,
because
absolutely, you would. Yeah.
He's detective.
A little
Yeah.
notebook and a pencil?
Yeah, he give it to it.
Yeah, Randolph would stub out his cigarette he's been smoking and put the pencil like behind his ear.
Oh, I did have another idea, just to make it more believable. If we just try and walk in, then act confused, but like it's all been pre-arranged, you know. Maybe that'll be more convincing.
My detective, you are a natural at the salesman's game.
Good at the idea, it's just not the execution.
Well, let's see how we do. So, Randolph loves this idea.
Okay.
Striding in all purposeful.
Yeah,
And
see.
if they challenge us, just being like, well, surely your supervisor told you.
Well, heading up to the reception, you find a woman sitting there, and if you're making this approach, then I think fast talk makes a lot of sense. I think with what you're doing as well, a bonus die would be more than appropriate. I think.
Yeah, did you take off your fast talk, Tom?
I did, yeah.
Oh, good.
Less than a 5, please. Yeah.
To a 29, which is, I believe, a hard success. Just is that right? It was half then 55. It would be.
I think it's just over.
Just over.
Sadly.
So sadly, so regular success. However, the receptionist says she looks confused for a moment. She's like, "Well, we weren't expecting anyone today, but unfortunately, my supervisor is not here today. Of course, if you won't be long, will you?"
No, we'll be out of your hair shortly. We just need to get the best angles, you know? Paint the hospital in the light it deserves.
Of course. So Jenny's always forgetting to write down appointments like this for me, so this is not surprising.
Give us a little more time. I can get a pretty photo of you as well, if you want, ma'am.
Oh, do a charm check, just to see if you can add a bit of time. Hard success. She's like, "Oh well, is it going in the paper? Is it going in the Globe?"
Well, with your looks, it might well do.
Well, how charming, sir. Well, I'd love to be in the paper. My mama, she'd be quite thrilled. She would.
Well, without further ado, then let's not keep you. If you want to prepare yourself.
Yes,
Adam,
yes, of course.
Do you want to powder your nose?
Yes. I don't want all the sweat on my face making me look not quite right for the paper. So you take your time in there. I'll need my time to set myself up for in the paper. She's sort of like she shows you towards the archives, and as you both sort of make your way down sort of a set of stairs to sort of the basement of Salem Hospital, you make your way down. You found a large archives, very expansive.
Oh God!
So
we just gotta find it.
So
he's like, I'm gonna set up a camera and make this look believable.
All right, I'm gonna dive straight in. Dr. Shine.
Now I will say, because obviously it's still learning the system and stuff, and just role playing wise, splitting up the group is obviously something we can do here. But obviously, I want it to be a little bit freeform, especially because if certain people are good at certain different skills, like library use, for example. If you thought that you would have maybe like said, let's get Joe for this before we go, or let's get Harla for this, I'm not going to be too strict on that kind of stuff at this point. So if you guys think, oh, actually, none of us are good at library use, it makes more sense that we would have got Joe or Tala to come with us, then we can just kind of hand wave that a little bit.
Do either of you guys have good library use? Help!
If
I'm not very well up on my books, to be honest. No.
Oh God.
Oggy's got a 34.
Hey, that's better than me. I'm 20.
I got 20.
what about Tala, Anya?
Basic bitches.
Yeah.
Holla Ray.
Sorry, Natalie.
What they're looking for someone with good library use skills, so they're wondering if Tala does.
20?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Not great
It's
either.
Oggy's the best one then.
Well, we'll stick unless you think you would have bought them for other uses. Then perhaps Oggy being the initiator of this. But because Oggy got that charm, you do have a bonus die. You did manage to buy yourself more time on this particular task.
Go on, Og.
And I do want to say a failure is not all bad in just a regular failure is not all bad in Cthulhu. You will learn some stuff. You're just not going to learn maybe as much as you might have.
Okay. Yeah, so he sets up the camera and he just looks around. Oh, this place is massive.
Oh, let's go,
Critical
Oggy!
success, a
Nice.
1. Okay, very interesting. Well, I'll first start off by showing you. You find immediately a set of writings and inconsequential accounts from Dr. Shine's personal and professional life, including his travels around the globe. The papers have languished there unread since their donation in a dusty corner. And these particular documents, I reveal there's 2 different documents you would have found with that critical success. In fact, there's even more information. There's a lot of information here you would have found. You would have found just a... initially, you would find what looks like a solemn message about Dr. William Shine's induction at Danvers, noting that the previous superintendent, a Warren A. Herrick, MD, the original superintendent when Danvers was built, died on the job after falling down a flight of asylum stairs in 1890. And Dr. William Shine was appointed a new superintendent that same year. And you would see that in this note that Dr. Shine, it's quite like a regretful sort of taking over of Danvers. After that, though, you do find this. So if you want to read it out, Oggy or Randolph, whoever prefers to. And there's a lot of information here, obviously, so...
I'll do Oggy the first paragraph and then
Nice.
Tom can do
Deal.
June 22nd, 1890. The troubles afflicting the asylum run deep, and are a kind of my esteemed colleagues would never accept as part of a rational, orderly universe. Indeed, if I were to communicate my convictions to my peers, I would find myself consigned to these very walls as a patient, not administrator. However, I have seen these problems before in my travels and must act swiftly. The thing, aware of my suspicions, has moved against me. But I have spoken the words of protection that I have learned so long ago in that queer ancient city, and so far have been safe. I must find Hawthorne's disc.
Hat horns, it would be.
Oh, hat horns, okay. And soon, so as to lay down that thing which torments all here, twisting already damaged and vulnerable minds. Hat horn had the disc removed, thinking it a pagan symbol of heathen spirit worship, or a terrible mistake by a zealous preacher. Heaven grant that I find the disc, and if found, that it will restrain the thing which moves against us all on Hat Horn Hill.
Now, you both would know that Hat Horn Hill is the place where Danvers Asylum is built.
Right. November 12th, 1890. I have found Hat Horn's disc. It is, as I suspected, an ancient sign from elder times, a ward against that which lairs in the very earth and air of the hill. Mercifully, the disc has weathered the years and neglect remarkably well. The sigil etched upon its surface is as clear as the day it was placed there, but by whose hands? Best not to dwell on such Aeolian mysteries. My task now is to install it once more upon the hill, restraining that which, like others of its kin, is inimical to we who have inherited its world.
And then after that, you would also find with Oggy's critical success,
Yeah, baby.
more writings. If you can see them.
You want to do the first one, Oggy?
Yes.
Ogly Boggly.
December 3rd, 1890. It is done. The sigil has been placed upon the earth, forcing down that which lays upon the hill into an uneasy torpor. The taxpayers question the expense of having a useless decorative piece installed at the asylum, but they pose no serious threat to its removal, and are mercifully unaware of its true purpose. But to those who know, the sign shall serve as a ward for now and the future. Already I see signs of recovery in the patients and the staff, as if they are surfacing from a long, waking nightmare.
25 years later, May 7th, 1915. I have met with my successor. Dr. James Berger seems a cheerful and capable young fellow. Noting his active character, I have admonished the young doctor to never to remove the disc that lies at the edge of the reservoir upon the hill. Will he heed my words? It was impossible to impart to him my true reason for planting the disc all those long years ago. I had to fabricate reasons of sentimentality to impress upon him the importance of leaving the disc unmolested. I pray that he will remember his promise to leave the disc undisturbed. Oh dear. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, Colonel,
Seems like we gotta find this disc, right?
sure thing. Yep, find the disc. This guy had some interesting ideas. An ancient city.
Oh yeah. Well, he thinks back to the monkeys and the serpent person, but then looks down at Randolph. Yeah, it must have been off his rocker. Huh.
Well, it'd be perhaps behoove us to understand at least why the disc isn't there anymore. If Berger was made to promise to keep it and has removed it, then he must have a reason.
That's true. And I wonder where it was.
By the reservoir, which we went to.
No.
And there was no disc there.
I don't think you went right up to it, no.
Oh, okay.
We were gonna.
One thing Augie would do, because he knows Joe Brown is driving around tomorrow, he would make a list of talking points to give to Joe Brown with the information.
Just hangs it on his little mirror.
Where have you seen this?
What
Have
would
you seen? Hang on. This disc.
I don't know. There's quite a lot of information there. It's hard to like boil it all down.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, Randolph would be like, he'd be keeping it relevant to
Yeah.
Josh into their immediate stuff going on. So he's just thinking of it as a way to poke at Berger, because Berger's the big obstacle to them right now.
Yeah.
It could be something that we confront him with directly.
I suppose it's not strange that he was cheerful when he was young, but of how stony faced he was, I don't know if that's in like if anyone might have noticed when his demeanor started changing, but then it might just be getting old. But then it's easy to work into conversation.
Yeah.
It was only about, 8 years ago. So, that is quite a long time, obviously. But
Yeah, because they work out that they could work out maybe when the stone got moved or broken or whatever hell's happened to it.
something you could certainly look into.
What about staff who work at the asylum but aren't there all the time? Like cleaning staff, people who come in on a daily basis. Someone who's worked there for a long time but perhaps hasn't fallen under the influence of it could perhaps give us a clear answer on when the stone was removed.
Yeah, good point.
Could be maybe someone for Joe to target. Hey, cleaner man, you need a taxi ride? On the house!
Free for you.
You tell me what you want to do.
Yeah, well, if Joe Brown's got some more instructions to go around talking to people, he's going to do that. And also, I kind of want to go see if I can find a map.
Yeah, I was thinking about the map.
Yeah,
And
we could
also,
all,
if there's
we could
anything
all
else
go
in the
together to get a
archives
map.
Yeah.
to do with the asylum, the hospital's relationship with the asylum or anything like that.
Yeah, so do you think you guys would all meet back up again and discuss sort of this? Maybe, but I think this would probably taken you at least sort of half a day. To, as Joe drives around, Tala tries to sort of scope it out. Yeah, so I think you probably reconvene for a sort of a late lunch, maybe sort of 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and discuss what your plan is from here in character.
Yeah.
And see what you want. So you find yourselves at a local a diner.
Well, I've been asking around everyone all day, and nobody really knows anything about it. Everyone just thinks it's kind of weird, so that's it.
Randolph and I got some interesting information, quite in depth, about and he'd explain it to the group.
Yeah. I don't know much about this disc. Seems kind of supernaturally, maybe.
And the mention of the cities.
Mm.
But I guess none of this really helps us getting in to the asylum.
That's why I think maybe we should go look for the map, and then maybe tomorrow go around asking more questions. Maybe what was the other things? Newspapers. I guess if there's any more news about it, I guess.
Yeah. Newspapers might be good because then you could pinpoint if there's one news story before the disc was removed and one after, it might be quite clear when it...
Oh, yeah, good idea.
So after their lunch, should they all go down to the sort of town hall to look up building plans?
Yeah, let's do that.
We're back!
Is there anything to, because I know Oggy's a PI, is there anything to Oggy like following Burger home or anything like that? Like just watching them outside of the...
Oh, Jerry Brown stalking with Oggy in the back. I like the idea of that. That sounds cool.
Yeah. Let's do that.
You can certainly do that if you wanted to. You tell me what you want to do.
Town hall, then group stalk. Dr. Berger. See actually to see if he even comes out of the hospital.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
might not.
Yeah. So you all, after chewing down, what would you be eating at the diner? Each of you?
Clam chowder.
Yeah.
Whatever the most boring food they have is.
Well, you tell me. What do you think the most boring food thing is?
Do you have any beans on toast? I would very much like the beans on toast.
You would certainly be served the most boring.
Augie would be like, Joe, I always have ketchup with my beans.
Well, that's very exotic for me, I must say. So the beans is perfectly saucy enough.
Suit yourself. Mice and Men referencey.
What about Randolph?
Randolph would have an American hamburger and fries.
Classic.
Eating like the teenager he still sees himself as.
What about Tala, Anya?
And I think Tala, I watched a thing once about like 1920s diets, and they basically had this like beef soup made out of like raw mince.
Oh,
I think she
okay.
probably had something like that.
Lovely. Very tasty. So you head back outside and you get in the car of Joe Brown. Joe Brown starts it up, making your way back towards the town hall. From here it's about a 10-minute drive. As you're chatting away, thinking on what you might do, what you might find within the town hall, and Oggie's telling questions to Joe that perhaps he should ask people, as perhaps he picks people up, or then you sort of go back to thinking, well, maybe we should stalk out the place and see if we can get Dr. Berger himself. Suddenly Joe, a very regular driver, your hands both firmly on the steering wheel, an excellent driver, suddenly the steering wheel jerks violently. Can you make a drive auto roll for me?
Jeez Louise.
Success.
Oh,
Ooh, just a regular success.
my
Oh god.
Holding on.
With a 90, jeez fucking Christ, that's a high skill. So it jerks so violently that even the expert driving of Joe Brown, immediately you find yourselves all heading down a very busy street in Boston, and Joe is driving directly into oncoming traffic. How do you react?
Whoa, the car is not moving the way I want.
Augie's gonna try and grab the wheel next to him,
Mm-hmm.
like get him back on course.
How are Randolph and Tala reacting?
And get back into the right lane.
How fast are we going? Pretty fast.
Yeah, like fucking 50, 60
Oh,
miles an hour,
shit.
doing the speed limit.
Under brake.
Randolph
Uh,
has a high-pitched scream.
And Tala?
oh, sorry, can you not hear me?
No, I think you dropped out maybe.
Hello?
Can hear you now.
Oh, sorry, my internet's playing up a bit.
That's okay.
She just have her hands over her eyes.
Okay, so you see as Oggie pulls the wheel, and with Joe, but even with Oggie not needed, as you actually see Joe's expert driving, suddenly this unassuming man, his instincts kick in and dodges one car, dodges another, and swings back onto the other side of the road.
No problem. That happened only the one time.
Sorry to grab the wheel, Joe, but you're driving like you thought we were in Belgium.
That's right. I don't know what happened. Suddenly the car just went that way. Naughty car, I have to fix that.
Joe, you're despite your levity, you're quite frightened. Like that, you felt like it was like Oggie grabbed the wheel that caused it in the first place, but you know Oggie didn't. Like,
Yeah.
You want me to check the old you know, the wheels.
No.
Oggy doesn't know anything about mechanical repair.
Okay, Joe does. That's okay. I'll do it in a minute. But should we pull over? Let's pull over briefly. I'll have a look. Yeah, he's just gonna pull it over.
Maybe
Yeah.
the gear crank's gone. Or the flywheel.
Do a if you're pulling over and having a look at the car itself, Joe, do you want to do a electrical repair check maybe, or you could think more mechanical repair, not electrical repair. Sorry,
Mechanical repair. Yes. God damn it.
it's not a fumble because you've got the skill over 50. You're not you just look at it, it looks fine, but you don't see anything obvious from what you can tell. It looks fine to you. You do give it quite a decent look over though, so
Yeah, gets his tools out, starts having a little fiddle, see if there's any, like, I don't know, car things that are loose or whatever.
yeah, it doesn't quite remove that sense of doubt in the back of your mind, but you're pretty certain there's nothing wrong with the car itself.
Okay. Gets back in. Oh, well, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it. Maybe we hit a curb or something. Everyone could probably see doubt in Joe's face right now about the curb thing.
Has it ever happened before?
Not like that, no. Not since my early days of learning to drive, anyway.
Strange.
That is strange. Do you don't think that... They can't be.
You think it's... How close are we to the hospital?
To Danvers, it was about half an hour drive from the centre of Boston. You're sort of maybe about 20 minutes, not that far at all, really.
But in the car, that's quite...
Yeah, we're in the car, 20-minute drive, so...
Maybe it's just one of those things with the car, you know, Joe. Maybe the old... maybe there wasn't enough oil on the steering wheel. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Joe just looks at you. It's like, I'm not... You don't know enough about cars, do you, Holly? Oh, that's okay, then. The oil is actually it's fine, to be honest. I don't really... But yeah, let's keep going. I'll make sure to keep both hands on the wheel at all times.
Very sensible of you, Joe.
Yes. Because I must at this point.
So, you drive onward to the town hall, getting access. The town hall, obviously. You're able to get access to records of local areas and stuff, but do a let's have a quick look. Do a library check for me. The library use. Whoever wants to.
Should I do it?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
A failure. Okay.
Should I push it?
It's up to you. Do you want to push it?
It worked for me.
How are you going to push it? You have to tell me how you want to push it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know how you push it.
He could
Stay
direct us
overnight.
all to look in different areas. Because we're all going.
Yeah, use your training as a military officer. Order us
okay.
around.
He would, I guess there's different sections of the library, right? And he'd try and assign everyone to what their expertise might be, like the closest possible thing. He's like, you look here for this, you look there for that, that kind of thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Oh,
The failure.
I could use 15 points
You-
of luck.
Unfortunately, cannot on a pushed roll.
Oh fuck yeah!
Oh.
So guaranteed something negative. So you do split up into different parts of the library. One of you
Yep.
does find a map of Danvers. You do find Joe. You the first to come across it, and then you sort of quickly get Randolph's attention, and then you sort of bump back into Tala as you're moving around. Like, look, I found the map. Oggy is sort of off searching, moving down these long library halls, looking through different areas, different records. Looking down and down. Oggy suddenly, standing at the very end of the hall, you see a man cloaked in darkness. Can you make a POW roll for me, please?
Shit.
Does it look like a person initially?
You're not sure. It's just it's very cloaked in darkness. You get the impression that very unfriendly eyes are cast upon you from this figure. This dark figure in the dark is glaring malevolently at you. Do a psychology check for me. A failure. You continue staring at this dark figure and suddenly they step away. And as they do, you begin to see, you look to your left suddenly, like almost like shaking your head out of a stance as the bookcase itself begins to fall. Can you make a dodge roll for me?
Oh.
A hard success.
Hey!
Suddenly this large set of bookcase starts falling and your instincts as a former soldier kick in and you just do a tumble out the way, landing hard, taking 1 point of damage, but enough to dodge out of the way of the bookcase. Suddenly a librarian rushes over and it's like, oh my goodness, mister, are you okay?
I don't know. There's some guy in here, and then the bookcase just started coming down on me.
I'm so sorry. Perhaps someone he lent on it or something. I'll go have a look. And he sort of looks around the corner as he does. It's like, there's no one here, but I don't know. I'm so sorry, sir. Are you injured at all?
No, I'm fine. Just a bit of a shock, Don't expect such a large bookcase to attack you.
There's a bit of commotion, and the three of you from down below, you see that you had this massive crash, and a few of the sort of people who are reading sort of all look up, and everyone's quite concerned. And then you suddenly see a man who's kind of helping Oggy to his feet and kind of sort of just making sure he's okay. And yeah,
We could go over there.
Pretty sure you're not meant to climb on the bookcases, Oggy.
There was a guy in here. He was weird. And then the bookcase just came down on me. It looked perfectly fine before, but I guess the weight of knowledge can just do that to me.
fuck me. That,
You know.
if there were hero points in Cthulhu, I'd give you one for that. In fact, I'll give you a free bonus die you can use somewhere else.
You know.
Randolph definitely smirks.
Was there something on the top shelf that you wanted to get?
No, I was just looking at him, and then he went, and then suddenly I just heard the creaking of it falling.
Oh.
What did he look like?
Shadowy. Probably foreign.
Jesus Christ. Let me take away that bonus die.
Randolph's gonna quick step to the front of the library and just have a look around, see if there's anybody that's marching out or anything like that.
Do a spot hidden check.
This important skill that I put nothing into.
When you say quick step to the front of the library, I just imagine like ballroom dancing.
And you'd be correct.
Unfortunately, no, you don't see anyone, Randolph. You looking around the front of the library, you sort of look out the front, and there's nobody there.
Okay, he's gonna cha-cha slide back to everybody else.
Yeah. Can Joe have a look at the bookcase, see if anything's broken on it, or?
Yeah, you look over at Joe, and it doesn't seem to be. I mean, more so than just the damage from the impact of falling over. There's no real direct damage on the bookcase itself. It's very sturdy, and in fact, Joe, you think it's quite heavy. It would like with all the books have gone everywhere, obviously, and it's lucky that it's so sturdy that the one next to it actually held it up for the most part, which sort of shows how sturdy these shelves are, which is so unusual that what caused it to fall.
Someone, I don't know, Hercules himself must have pushed this bookcase over, because it's very heavy. Or definitely wouldn't have fallen over by itself, I don't think.
What was the bookcase actually? What bookcase was it? Just out of...
You were looking down sort of records, and it would have been just most of the stuff that would have fallen from there would have been, from what you gather, like historical records and things like that.
Okay. Nothing that stands out.
Nothing in particular to you know. I will say, because Joe did find the map though, I can post it in the chat of what the real plans of Danvers Hospital did look like. So you can see the various wards. You can see that J ward is on the far west wing of the hospital. There would also be, you would know from just having seen it, for a bit more information about, and this is something Tala would have sort of picked up on when, even with that failure, she would have picked up on this just doing a few rounds of the hospital itself. You would know that there is a 10-foot high spiked wall that is around the edge of the asylum, and it's seemingly patrolled by pairs of burly orderlies. That's all Tala managed to get though with a failure. Didn't get any more information than that.
Okay.
But obviously you could spend more time and see if maybe you'd learn more, but yeah.
What are these little, so like from A and J, there's like a little like jutting thing coming out. Is that like a walkway? What is that?
Yeah. Would there be an entrance into the asylum at A and J ward?
Where is this map?
It's in Discord, sorry.
Cthulu text channel.
There you go. So I could just zoom in to see a little bit better.
There's nowhere from... So anywhere from the reservoir... I know is this the exact map?
This is the real map, yeah.
So we wouldn't know about the reservoir. Oh wait, where's the reservoir in relation to this map?
I believe it's sort of down the sort of... It's on the... I think it's on the eastern side, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I can double check for you to make certain, but it doesn't matter hugely. I say it's on the eastern side of the hospital. Those... just having a look myself and seeing if there's anything on the old information. There would be in particular... I don't see anything that indicates it would be anything massively in particular on the thing, so you'd probably gain much of the same information as we're getting from looking at the real thing, to be honest. You'd have to probably go investigate yourself further to see, do another round of the facility.
Yeah. Doing a fun J ward and see what it is jutting out. Who knows?
Can anyone see any entrances or exits that aren't the main door?
No. Maybe near the one, like the back bit there, the big square. It's hard to point. Yeah, you know where it goes 0, 1, 5, 6, 7.
Where's that?
Right
Oh.
smack in the middle.
Yeah.
Buildings for excited patients.
Excited patients.
So which side of the... You know which side of the building?
K is the boiler house.
We want to go to the bakery. No.
Firing room. We can get in the chimney.
Oh yeah.
Dive down in there.
We could pretend to be laundry workers and go in.
Oh, I think they know our
Definitely
faces, sadly. Yeah. Put the masks on.
Yeah.
Guys, stuff.
Coal bunker, where's that? It's the boiler house.
Climb up through the toilet.
Do a quick. I'll say do a quick no check because I'm looking through these particular things now, and I think I've got a good idea of something. So all of you can do a no check. So that's just an intelligence roll.
Okay. Damn.
Okay, we've got 2 successes. We'll see if Tala gets an even better one.
Tala Ray.
Sorry, I was making my dinner. What can I get? Oh, intelligence. Sorry. Yeah.
Intelligence.
Success. So
Okay.
Joe's with the best success here. You looking at the map, Joe, and you looking over what each of these things are, and you sort of notice that on each sort of part of the wings, there's kind of like these bits coming off that you all kind of noticed on the A and J, but you notice it's actually on all of them. And Joe, you kind of think, oh, those are probably ventilation shafts, considering that they're on all of them.
Okay. Ventilation shafts really tiny, or are they big?
Well, they can vary in size, certainly. You don't know how big these ones are, but from the map, they look... I mean, they're on the map, so they must be somewhat sizable.
Joe suggests ventilation shafts. Oggy just looks at everyone else being mildly in shape. He's like, just looks down at himself. He's like,
Yeah, this is a case when your size and build might come into play.
Yeah.
Who's got the smallest size and build? I'm curious.
50.
45 size.
You look up the old.
85.
My build is 0.
Where's build?
Under combat.
Oh. Build.
1.
Randolph.
Build 1.
Speedy. Speedy dexterous.
So for reference, 60 is considered an average human size, and then a 15 is considered a child. So you can judge it in between those two things. And in terms of build, I'll quickly get build up as well.
45.
What's Randolph's size?
His size is 45.
Oh, 45. Skinny man.
Yeah. Randy the snake. Send a snake through the ventilation shafts.
Average Joe is average, slightly below, I suppose, with 50. And 0 build.
Yeah, Anya says Tala Ray is build 1.
I think more determined, yeah.
Size 55.
Why are all these not working?
Send me in there, coach.
I'm just going to reload roll 20 because whenever oh, well, great, just fucking roll 20 is not blurring for me at all now.
Wonder
Oh,
why they just
no,
didn't
it's
make
his...
average size 50.
Don't know.
Hmm.
I'm gonna research for this now. Because weirdly my sim seemed to crash. Is this it? No, this is not it. Creating your investigator. Um, build. See if build plays into it at all. Just looking. I think it just affects your damage bonus, your build mostly, but yeah. I think it's mostly your size which would matter in this case then. Yeah, so we'll go with that. So yeah, that gives you an idea of how big your characters are.
Pretty sure.
Maybe if we're getting through the ventilation fast, then we can open the door for you, Ollie.
I'm just big boned and not, that big. And he looks down at himself. It's just a muscle from the war,
Oh yes, yes. Well, yeah. Well, just in case the muscle doesn't fit through.
Just
You
the
know?
weight of knowledge, Oggy.
Yeah, exactly. But Joe's right. If you can get in, and maybe you can find somewhere for me to get in.
That's me.
And
Is there
that's
any?
sad.
Oh. Is there any other ways? We've got the ventilation house.
Trying to work out where the boiler house is.
It would be in
think it's
between
at
at the top, yeah, at the back. And also the reservoir, I've just looked up the map, is actually on the west side of the hill. It's actually the closest to J-Wing, interestingly.
There's a boiler house. It's got coal bunkers, and it might have like a tunnel that goes in.
There's not one on the map.
Or is that fan room? Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. It's not on the map.
Just
But it's interesting because there is that whole kind of rear building that has the firing room and engine and pump room and all that stuff. That's probably less well guarded than other aspects.
Yeah, but then
What are we gonna do with it though? Do you want to know? You could
Yeah.
sabotage it, I guess.
found a slightly
Have them all
higher
come run into
quality version of that map I can post. Hold on. If this will work. Okay, hopefully that.
Well, what's our objective? To break Josh out?
Yeah. Well, that and we know about the disc now. So, do we want to do anything about maybe trying to find the disc?
yeah, we just have no idea where it could be.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think we should talk to like a cleaner or someone who works in the boiler room kind of thing. That might serve dual purposes if we can befriend them. It might get us in the boiler room area or what have you.
But it is behind the whole asylum,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Do an idea. Everyone do an idea roll from me, which I believe is a. Quickly look. Always forget. I think it's intelligence, but. Quickly look. Idea roll.
Blow up.
Intelligence roll for
Activity.
everyone. Do an intelligence roll.
Nice.
Intelligence.
Everyone's getting good. Oh.
We are the smartest people.
Cool. Quickly. Boom. So all successes, very good. With that then, as you're pondering what your approaches are, there's other things you think you could do. Perhaps with regards to the disc, most notably, you think back to an idea. I think it was Oggy that sort of put forward earlier who was saying about, well, if this was removed for any reason, perhaps there's sort of evidence in perhaps new buildings being put up or something that might have been built over it, or perhaps there's a reason that Dr. Berger would have removed it from its point on the hill, or someone else might have moved it on the hill. And perhaps looking into Hathorn Hill itself, its history, might provide answers to that particular avenue of success, or avenue of that particular approach.
So it was placed by the other guy.
It was
Near
placed
the
by
reservoir.
Dr. Shine, yes, who died in 1916. It was placed next to the reservoir, yeah.
So there must be something at the reservoir that's made him move it. Maybe. Or something put on top of it. Or something that's broke it. Maybe.
Eventually.
But even if that is, even if so, there's still not much you can do about it. I mean, I guess you can try and fix it, but
You are, if anyone wants to do a history check to see how much they just know off the top of their heads about Hathorn Hill, you can.
history.
Okay, Tana actually got success. 59. Tana's actually pretty well read.
Yeah, damn.
This is... Randolph knows less, I think, with a 10.
I
is-
heard one time.
I feel
Um,
like because of the stuff with Tala's family, she probably would. Have
Yeah,
heard of it.
so Tala, you'd actually know a lot, because it all leads back, the history of Hathorn Hill all leads back to the Salem witch trials. Well, some of what Salem is arguably known most for. And Randolph is like nodding like, yeah, I've heard of the Salem witch trials.
Naturally, come on! If it could be any person who would know this, is going to be me.
Precisely. So
Thank you.
Hathorn Hill, the asylum, Tala, you just know, you're like, well, the asylum occupies land that was once the homestead of Judge John Hathorn, and he was the lead magistrate of the Salem witch trials. So you think you're all talking about, like, you know, this supposedly this artifact that was placed in the earth, and if you're going down the avenue of, well, strange sort of occult things, then, well, this all, you know, it all kind of fits together, really. Like, Salem witch trials, all very unusual. I think with a 38 is a regular success. You'd probably have to do a bit more research and to learn about Judge John Hathorn himself, but you do know, I think Tyler would know, he was the lead magistrate of the witch trials themselves. You know that he was never a Genial fellow. How do you pronounce that word? Genial. Genial. Is that right?
Genial.
Genial fellow. But he built his reputation, Judge Hathorn, in Salem as a fair and even-handed magistrate, supposedly. But you know that this, Tala, you know that this supposedly changed quite dramatically after he built his home on the hill itself. And apparently he became remarkably vindictive in both his professional and personal life, and had a lot of enemies, this Judge Hathorn. And he persecutes supposed witches and fanned the flames of witchcraft austere with shocking zeal, reaping the horrific results that haunt the region to this day. So,
Okay.
Tala could communicate that information.
Yeah.
You don't have to roleplay it, you can just say she does that.
Yeah, tell people.
I don't know how that helps us. Interesting.
With the idea of, say, you know, there's always, when I give you information, there's always avenues of success of going, okay, well, we know a little bit, let's go down the rabbit hole, let's look more to see what might be useful. These are just little
I see.
leads. Yeah, just because you get a success doesn't mean you get every bit of information possible, because some things that Tala's not going to just instinctively know everything off the head unless she's like specifically a historical buff of Salem itself.
Sure. Okay. So we want to go find out more about Hathorn himself.
Mm-hmm. Which you could probably learn at the Danvers Historical Society.
Yeah.
Let's go there then.
Let's go do it.
Okay. Well,
Carefully drive the way there.
you make your way very carefully this time, making sure that nothing jerks the wheel away, and you do make your way across to Danvers Historical Society. And to gather information about Judge John Hathorn. People can make a library use check or a history check again if they'd like. See if they can learn more from being in the Danvers Historical Society.
Did you say library use or history?
Or history, yeah.
Get in there, Tala. History it up.
An extreme success. So after pondering...
Oh, it's so just like me in all ways. Give me witches, I'm all over it.
Yeah.
Well, you show me a sweet potato pie, I am on top of it.
You find more information. Hathorn himself was personally responsible for sending nearly 20 witches to their trial, imprisonment and death. Hathorn was the only executor never to repent for his actions. Originally from Salem, Hathorn moved his residence to the Hill in 1690. The Hill was originally locally known as Witches' Ground, and a place where the natives once trucked with devils and spirits. An ancient stone disc with pagan markings once sat atop the hill. This disc was revered by the indigenous peoples, who spoke of one who came from the sky and placed the stone, stamping out an evil spirit that haunted the hill. Hathorn, a stalwart Puritan, removed the disc and deliberately claimed the land for God, building his homestead upon the site. The fate of the disc and a more detailed description of its markings have faded from historical record, at least according to these results. Furthermore, where is it? With an extreme success. Let's quickly find where this is.
So if that's the spooky boopy place, it makes sense that it should be up there, right? At the summit of the hill.
What was that, sorry? Sorry, I'm just looking up.
I was more talking to everyone else.
Oh, okay, so...
What do you mean?
Like, if they did their rituals at the top of Hathorn Hill, it makes sense that the stone might be at the centre of the top.
Yeah, so they put it there, or the person from the sky put it there first. Aliens! But, then the judge got rid of it. And then Thingy put it back. What's it called? Shine put it back. My next question is, how did Shine know to put it back, or why did he think it was a good idea to put it back? How much did he know about all this
And where was it?
madness?
Where did he put it back from?
Yes.
Maybe there's a stone dumping ground.
You'd also find with this particular bit of information, you'd find this article in the town hall. Related to Hathorn Hill specifically, for some reason being kept, not specifically in the information about Judge Hathorn himself, but just a general Hathorn Hill. thing. I'll read it out just for the sake of those who prefer to have it read out. It says, Danvers Asylum superintendent builds amphitheatre for patients. Workmen at Danvers State Lunatic Asylum broke ground today for the establishment of a small amphitheatre to be enjoyed by the patients. Residents will enjoy quiet conversation space, poetry readings, and musical performances in an idyllic outdoor setting next to the asylum's reservoir. A beautiful place where water and earth meet, says Superintendent Dr. James Berger. Asylum resident and chief labourer Andrew McBride added that his team had some difficulty breaking up and removing a large granite disc bearing an artistic design set into the hillside where the amphitheatre is to be built. The asylum's prior superintendent, Dr. William Shine, had the disc placed on the side of Hathorn Hill. Dr. Shine, a world traveller, is said to have believed that the granite disc was a symbol of good luck for the asylum. Local residents questioned the expense of building an amphitheatre for mentally ill patients. However, Dr. Berg defends the creation of the amphitheatre, explaining, "It's important to remember that we must look to the betterment of all our citizens, especially those deemed too delicate or damaged to be part of the ebb and flow of the greater world." Furthermore, there is a photograph alongside of labourers kneeling by the water's edge, holding fragments of a large stone disc. The fragments suggest a symbol of a flame bounded by the outlines of a star. Anyone who's got the Cthulhu Mythos skill can make a Cthulhu Mythos roll, or either you can, on top of that, if you don't have that skill, you can also make an occult roll.
Natalie, did we decide that Tyler would have that because of the background?
I will say roll. I think we did when we never officially sort of said it. You do have a few points in it anyway from your previous adventure, but I think because of your background, roll a d10 for me.
Mm-hmm. Are we meant to have some in there? Because I don't have any.
I think Milton and Tala got it, but Milton died.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Add 8 points to your Cthulhu Mythos score, but reduce your max sanity by 8 as well.
I don't want it. No. Oh, sugar. Okay. So 110 mythos. Yeah. Okay. Oh, fuck. That was worth it.
Fortunately. I think just Oggy can make an occult roll if he's got the skill.
I don't have the skill.
That's fine.
It's not on my sheet.
No, none of you.
Oh no, I do. It's 5.
5 even, we might as well. No, none of you have a clue what that represents at all. But you do see it. One thing that Tala does recognise in the picture, though, the name didn't initially trigger it from the report, but in the picture, like, oh fuck, it's him. And then you think to the name in the article, Andrew McBride. That's the fucking guy that you saw in the asylum. That Josh said he seems to know what's going on. The big bald guy. And you can see him and you think, he was a labourer? He was a asylum resident and chief labourer. Andrew McBride.
No wonder he went crazy.
We gotta try and talk to him some more.
Yeah, I think so.
It feels like it might have been an accident, though.
Breaking up the granite disc.
Well, more that they built the amphitheatre and just got rid of a disc as building materials. Otherwise, why wouldn't you just destroy the disc on its own and be like, yeah, whatever?
Because you need an excuse to destroy the disc.
Do you, though? I don't know.
Maybe not.
I think you're probably right, but...
Maybe he just did it, and then after that he's gone all crazy.
I don't trust the guy with the fucking gory St. George picture in his office.
yeah.
I will remind you, it did say that, according to one of the articles, that he had a chipper demeanour when he started, but obviously that can come in two different ways. So there's something you could also, another thing thinking on that, another option you could choose to take is research Dr. Berger some more.
Yeah. See what he was like before, more, or how he's changed, maybe.
What-
Maybe
what
we could
part-
research the picture that he's got in his room. Do we need to? Can't remember if we did a roll on that.
Just thinking, what if we're gonna go in there and get Josh? What information are we missing that helps?
Well, we don't yet have a way to get Josh,
Yeah,
really, do we?
because it's all gonna be locked up, isn't it?
Hmm.
So,
That's
But
one
we
of the-
have interesting information around the asylum. All those notes taken by Dr. Shine. Troubles afflicting the asylum. But how much we don't know. We don't. One of the biggest questions I think at the moment is how much of it is happening to Dr. Berger and his staff, and how much of it is happening because of Dr. Berger and his staff.
Yeah, I think it's. I think it's all happening to them for the most part, at least. And then this thing in 2 days' time now.
Mhm.
The
It's-
moon.
What is that? What is? Do we know what's going to happen on that day yet? Or
You don't know. No idea. Something probably not good, you think? Something to Josh is what Dr. Berger threatened him with.
so what do we? So we need to get him out by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we could. Yeah.
I think-
Yeah.
Then we have a lot of theoretical and background knowledge now, and we need something more practical. We need like a guy who works there regularly or whatever, or the guy who brings the coal every month or what have you for the boiler. Like we need someone who's got he's got a connection to it, but isn't
in it.
and isn't beholden to Berger.
The guy that's in there, the guy that's in this, what's his name? The one that Tyler saw. Does he have
Andrew
any
McBride.
friends? Does he have any friends outside we could talk to, maybe?
Maybe he's got family.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good.
you know.
Well, none of the other workers were named in the article, were they?
They weren't. He was the chief labourer and asylum resident.
I was
Maybe
going
he's
to
got
say we could always see if we could hunt down any of the other residents or any of the other labourers, sorry, and see what it was that might have either made him go mad or made him end up being committed.
Yeah.
Yeah, all his workmates. See if they're around.
Yeah. Because I wonder if he was the one who unearthed this stone or if he broke it and therefore maybe something got unleashed or the asylum leaders were annoyed about it or something.
Yeah. Would there be like a record, or because if you have a team to build an amphitheater, you got to pay them. Would there be a record of payment done, or like local business record at the town hall, something like that?
Something you could definitely go look.
Oh, we could look up what company built the amphitheater.
Yeah.
And then see their workers, and they were probably there for a little bit too, right? And maybe still go there for some reason.
Yeah.
Would there also be any records of anyone leaving the asylum? Maybe go look up them. See if they've got any inside knowledge.
That could be a good list as well, because it's like nobody has left in 4 years.
Yeah, could be. Interesting to know.
Would that list be in the asylum though? That sounds
Could
like
be.
their admin, or maybe in the
Possible.
hospital that we've just been in. We need another photo of the archives. I like the work group lead.
Yeah, I think let's do the work group one first.
Yeah, so you're
The town hall again. Hello, my friend.
the town hall. Can I have everyone, as you're talking around the table, obviously this conversation is happening in character as you're discussing things, everyone make a spot hidden check for me.
Right, bro.
Got a failure from Randolph. We've got a hard success from Joe. Extreme success from Augie.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I timed that well. I'm back. Do I need to roll something?
A spot
Spot hidden.
hidden, yes.
Ah, that means something bad is there.
It's in the
Oh.
place where we're all talking around the table.
Oh, good.
So while you're in the historical society all gathered around a table discussing your thoughts, Joe notices, but Augie's the first to notice what this stream says, your private eye instincts kick in, and you notice there is a stranger hovering just at the edge of your perception.
Is it the same one I saw earlier?
If you look over, the figure sort of moves off slightly, sort of quickly beginning to disappear. Both Joe and Augie can both do intelligence rolls.
Augie would be like, someone following us! Poorly.
5 for him as well, yes.
Augie, you're not sure. It's when you briefly see him, even it's in fact, because you're an extreme success, I'll give you a bonus die.
D10, right?
Yeah, or you could just press the bonus button if you want.
Oops.
That's fine. So
Is
it'd
that
be
a
a 0.
zero?
It'd be an 8, so it actually would be a extreme success, I think, again, or close to one. In that case, then, Augie, you do recognise this guy instantly. Joe does as well. You actually notice this as a member of the asylum staff dressed in normal street clothes. One of the orderlies that directed you out of the asylum itself. They
Augie
I'll
would start,
recognize that person.
Augie would start chasing him.
Okay.
Run. Get him.
You suddenly you all. So who's chasing him? So is it just Augie and Joe?
Joe Brown
just-
gets up off his seat and he's like, that guy from the hospital, get him.
And Augie starts.
Yeah, Randall will do it as well.
Okay, everyone's going to roll dexterity checks for me.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this.
Joe Brown sucks.
Let me put some more appropriate music.
Oh,
in.
Augie!
Where is it? Where is it?
Augie just runs through the chairs and table.
It's like Raid Runner and then a turtle.
Joe Brown trips up on the mess.
Where's my car?
Yeah,
just-
Brown
it's-
tries to drive his chair in the cafe.
Just goes into a chase scene with all us chasing after him, and it ends with just Joe Brown hitting him with a car.
Quickly
Bad
get
of that.
something up. Bear with me one second.
Transporter Joe.
I've got him, everyone.
It's okay, everyone. He's dead. Bear with me one second till I get my info up. Internet's being so slow.
It seems like Call of Cthulhu is like, do not breach, breach, breach. Whatever you do, do not do that.
Yeah.
And all that makes you want to do.
I'm gonna get my gun and I'm gonna walk through the front doors.
Oh, nice. So the only person who immediately falls behind in this chase is Joe Brown as he stumbles over the chairs and kind of sort of trips up. But all three of you, the rest of you, managed to get immediately into the chase. So we're actually going to go into a new set of mechanics that Cthulhu has. the chase mechanics, which is very interesting. So if you want to drag your tokens out and put them on number 1.
Do I get to go on -1?
You're unfortunately, because you didn't roll dexterity, Joe, you won't be a part of the chase.
Oh, I want to be chased.
Oh, I like it.
I like how Randolph's tokens like 3 times smaller than
Yeah,
Oggy's.
I mean, I'll make it slightly bigger for you.
I
There you
like
go.
that. Oggy's huge.
And Tala as well, if you want to drag your token out. Oh, she's
Let's
also
go.
tiny. I'll make her slightly bigger as well.
Speedy peeps.
I'm gonna. I haven't got the token for this guy, but let's just go commoner in my fucking search. I've probably got some fucking commoner I've uploaded from Strahd. Which one suits this guy the most? God, they're all so stupid. Let's go.
Oh, God, what was his name? What was the name of the fucking the brother?
Oh, go on, tell
Strahd.
me.
What was the name of the guy in Strahd, the brother of Irina?
Oh, Ismark.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
Yeah.
Ismark.
That's who I imagine.
Okay, well, let's find an
The
Ismark
himbo.
token. Pretty sure I've got. No, I don't actually. He must have been part of
Probably
a thing.
because he was
Chat.
in the compendium.
Yes, he was in
Oh,
the
yeah,
compendium.
true.
I'll just get commoner out because I've got one of them. Let's just go with this dude.
You look like a commoner.
Right, so bear with me because these rules are somewhat complicated. Well, not massively complicated, but they're interesting enough. So you see, as soon as you guys, this guy sprints for the street, immediately away from you. So, so with Cthulhu chases, we're first going to start off. We are going to roll all con checks for you. I will roll one for the guy as well. He's got that much.
Damn it!
86.
Oh, I missed by 3.
Con checks. Okay.
Can I use luck?
I'll allow you to use luck, yeah.
Use 3 luck. Oh my god, Oggy's con is 25. Have spent the luck.
Okay.
Joe proud. Sideways.
Fell on his face.
A con check from Tala as well, please, Anya. Just regular success. So, Randolph, you got regular success. Tala, regular success. There is no changes to your movement score. A failure does mean that you get -1 to your movement score for this as well. So if you look at your move score at the top, Oggy, it will be moved down by 1.
Wait, where is it?
So-
Move score.
Movement rates under
Your
combat.
movement rate, that'll be it,
Oh,
yeah.
it's under combat. 5.
Okay, so you're on a 4, which is not great.
Oh no, it was 6. It's
Oh,
gone
sorry.
down to
I'd get down to 5. Okay, that makes more sense. So this guy is in this much. Right, so bear with me whilst I because these rules are quite complicated. It's going to take me a while to get a hand of it. So,
Would you mind restarting the
Music.
chase theme?
yeah,
Don't think it's worked.
is that better? Might be a bit quiet.
I can hear it.
I think I just need to turn up my thing. There we go. Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So let me get the chase rules up fully because it's been a while since I looked at these. Chases. So, right, so boom. Action participants establishing the chase. speed roll. So just move to the genius face. We've done that. Compare speeds. So what is everyone's speeds? We've got Oggy with a 5.
Randolph
Love it.
says 9.
9. Holy shit. Well, that's good.
Baby.
Because if the fleeing character will just escape if their adjusted movement speed is higher than all their pursuers. Unfortunately, from Oggy is now taken out of the chase because he is just too slow as he's behind. What is Tala's move rate, Anya?
8.
8.
Oh, yeah,
She
let's
is
go.
They're both still in the chase because this guy, thanks to a failure, has a 7. So, so as Joe immediately just falls over a chair inside the Danvers Historical Society itself, Oggy is just simply just too fat to keep up, and suddenly it's just, I can imagine Oggy just like, go on without me, I'll catch up.
My son.
So if the pursuer's adjusted movement is equal to or greater than the fleeing character's state is established, so we will cut to the chase.
Nice.
So, yep, right. So, for this case, I'll bring up the old turn order. Can you both tell me what your dexterity scores are? Because you're at highest to lowest. The asylum orderly is a dex score of 55.
Dex score of 90.
Holy shit.
This is what Randy's good at.
Randy has 90. And Tala, what was yours, Tala, sorry?
50.
50?
Yeah.
Okay. So 90 and then 50. Fantastic. Let me put that in descending order. Cool. So, ranks the highest lowest, I guess, for draw, does movement actions. So, each character gets a number of movement actions per round. Movement actions are used to move from one location to the next. Faster characters get more movement actions each round than slower characters. So, each character and vehicle gets one movement action by default. To this is added the difference between your movement rating and the movement rating of the slowest participant in the chase. Thus, the slower participant will always have one movement action, and some of the move action is 1 above the slowest. So the slowest is 7. It's this guy. So if you've got a move, if you've got one, sorry, I'm trying to speak slowly because I'm learning the rules myself. So bear with me. The slowest participant will always have one movement action. So the orderly has one movement action. Some of the movement action that is 1 above the slowest participant will have 2 movement actions. So I will quickly copy. With me, because I've got a lot of shit on my screen. I'll copy this guy up here. Looks sake. This guy has one movement action. So he's got a 7. So I think Tala has, we said, 1 above that, which means that she will have 2 movement actions per round. And then someone who's got 2 above the slowest person will have 3 movement actions, and so on and so forth. So if you want to copy and paste your tokens, if you can, I'll just do it for you, don't worry.
Thank you.
Just so we can.
Thank you, because I genuinely panicked for a second there.
So Random actually has 3 movement actions per thing, which is really good. So actions in a chase round on your turn in your dex order, which goes highest to lowest. You can use an action to move forward in the chase. You can initiate one attack using the fighting firearms, or if you were driving, drive auto skill. You can also cast a spell if you ever had that, but very unlikely. We'll get to that. And perform some other requiring time, perhaps a dice roll, such as picking a lock. A character may elect to delay acting until another character has acted. If this leads to more than one character wishing to act simultaneously, the one with the highest dex takes priority. If both insist on waiting for the other round, may end with neither of them acting, though. And when you push rolls are not used in the chase, we don't have to worry about being push rolls being used. Right, so moving from one space to another costs 1 movement action, Randy. So it is your turn. There may be hazards and stuff on the way as you get a clear street though immediately in front of you as the guy's just running down the street. So you got 3 movement actions. So what is your first one?
Yeah, moving to the next
Location, 100%.
next location. You just see Randy fucking move. This man has had to run away from many dodgy business exchanges gone wrong. So you just see him pelting forward.
So you can drag yourself to the second one. But as this guy pushes through, you see he's just pushed beyond, which you can see immediately in front of you is a very crowded street. So this is called a hazard. So I'll reveal up here. Hazards are... So you can make an appropriate skill to bypass said hazard. You can also spend movement actions to buy bonus die for said roll. So in this case, for a crowded street, I would say a dodge roll is necessary to get through it appropriately. So please make a dodge roll for me. A success!
No.
So you can get through without any bonus actions being lost, movement actions being lost.
Living up to his name, you see him winding through the crowd like the snake he is. So, does it only take me 1 movement action to catch up to this guy?
It does indeed, yeah. But you would, but now you're on the same spot as him. You do need to spend a movement action to initiate either an attack, or if you want to do a, you can do. So I'll reveal some of the stuff. You got fighting maneuvers, which is like your brawl skill, but you specify what you think it's going to be. But I'll get the chases up again. So hazards.
Yeah, fighting maneuvers, outcomes, such damage.
Conflict.
Oh man, Randy's not good at fighting.
Is he good at grappling?
No, he's just good at dodging.
If a character or vehicle seeks to trip, push, or otherwise cause their opponent to lose control, this can be achieved with a fighting maneuver. Successful fighting maneuver causes the same outcome as failing a skill roll for a hazard. -1 D3 movement actions are lost, and if appropriate in the situation, amount of damage can be caused as well.
Does a fighting maneuver have to be brawl or like a weapon thing?
Just double check.
Take a swing, but it's not very likely.
Character must be on the same location to attack one another unless firearms are involved. Initiating an attack costs 1 movement action. Characters are limited to the usual number of attacks per round. Always getting the option to respond. Yep. Okay. Fighting maneuvers. Just checking because these rules are quite lengthy, sure. So I'm just because I'm still learning them.
Could intimidate him.
My intimidate's not great either. I've got fast talk, jump, jump on him, Mario stomp him, persuade, try and persuade him.
Yeah.
Got stealth. I'm genuinely thinking with stealth, like trying to like run ahead of him. That doesn't make any sense, because I don't know where he's going to.
Try and predict it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like based on the streets and things.
Yeah.
But risky.
Yeah, my brawl is 25. Base.
Sorry.
It's alright. Learning it.
Meanwhile, Joe Brown untangles his shoelaces from the chair, goes to his car.
Oggy's just like,
Already.
okay, it's not hard to...
What's Tala's fighting ability? Is Tala good at brawl?
Probably not.
What does it say next to brawl on your character sheet?
I'm just finding it. I don't know how to find it.
On the fighting on the right.
Everybody fighting.
So yeah, I think with like grappling or tripling, it would be like brawl, but you would I would say it would be opposing roles to try and do it. So
Okay.
if you wanted to do an attack to try and grab him, then please make a fighting brawl check.
I think I have to. Here's fighting maneuvers. Okay, yeah, I'll give it a go. I'm here. Tries to grab his wrist. Oh!
A success, 16.
Yeah.
I will roll his dodge check though.
Yeah.
So you get to see if he, and if you draw on this, it does go in his favour. So
Makes sense.
he's what's he going to roll? 75. He does not. He fails. So I mean, the chase sort of ends before it even really truly begins because. Like, as an Olympic sprinter, Usain Bolt, Randolph Silsford just sprints out of the Danvers Historical Society and just dodges through this crowded street and just describes me how you throw yourself at this guy to
Okay, you
bring him
know
down.
how if someone's riding a bike and a stick ends up in the spokes of the bike, that's like Randolph. He just gets like tangled up with the guy. He just like catches up to him, tries to jump on him, but it's not like a rugby tackle bringing him down. He just like ends up like between his legs and just like messing up the guys running, so they just go tumbling to the ground. End up in a pile.
Amazing. So you end up in a pile on the floor. So for that, I will end the chase. We didn't get to go very far in the chase, but
Sorry.
it's okay. But sometimes the best chase is one that's ended quickly. So in the street, you've got this guy nailed on the floor. He is struggling, but it's enough time for the rest of you to catch up to things. And with all of you there, he is outnumbered, so he's not in a position really to fight back, and he kind of just accepts his fate. Yeah, what are you guys doing?
Buy him some coffee.
Okay.
Wait, do we catch up with him on the floor?
Yep, so they're on the floor, and you see Randolph is sort of struggling with him on the floor, wrestled him to the ground.
Oggy pulls out his revolver. And he's like, and he draws back the hammer. He's like, you better get off my friend and tell us why you're following us. Or should I say, stalking a lady? And he points at Tyler.
Do an intimidation check for me.
Can I use the die that you said you gave me?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Shit.
Unfortunately, it's a failure. So he sees the gun and is looking at you, but sort of keeps things very tight-lipped as now he's left himself on the floor with Randolph. He just says, "What's the meaning of this? You chasing after me? Get off me!"
Not until you tell us why. And he's gonna stand. He's just gonna put his full weight on the guy's ankle.
He says, "Tell you what, why?"
You work at the hospital. I sees you.
"I don't work at no hospital. What you talking about?"
Fine. Oggy's gonna stamp on his ankle.
He sort of Yeah, just stamp and just roll a d4 for me.
Oggie's also going to make a big scene in the street. It's like, don't worry, everyone. We caught the pervert.
Amazing. Yeah, roll a d4 for me.
Make sure no one intrudes.
2 points of damage to this guy. Stamp. Ah! Just lets out this horrible groan, and yeah, he's just he's now on the floor. He's just staring at you and just like gripping his ankle as best he can. What are the rest of you doing?
Standing there.
Randolph would
Yeah, so.
kind of like dust himself off and stand up and just kind of start playing good cop to Oggie's bad cop and just be like, you gotta wonder, friend, is it really worth it? You being paid enough to get your ankle all twisted and messed up? We just want to know what's going on.
Just with the stamping on his foot, and with Randolph sort of talking more calmly, he just says, "Just let things be."
Well, we gotta know. We gotta get our friend out of there.
Just stay away from Danders if you know what's good for you.
What happened to the stone?
He just remains tight-lipped. Doesn't say anything else. He's just like, just stay away from Danvers if you know what's good for you.
But why though? Is there anything we should be afraid of specifically?
Doesn't respond.
Did you try and push that bookcase on me?
Did he mess with my car?
I don't mess with anyone's car. Push no bookcase. I don't know what you're talking about. You can do a psychology check if you want. Yeah, you're both not sure if he's lying or telling the truth in that particular question.
Maybe we should go somewhere and have more of an in-depth chat, perhaps.
Yeah, you're right.
My taxi is pretty comfortable.
Oggie's going to put him in handcuffs because he's got some in his
Okay,
possessions.
yeah, you put him in handcuffs, Oggy, no problem. And what are you doing?
Let's go for a drive, Joe.
Yeah. There. I'll go fetch the car. One moment.
I'm worried he's gonna end up wearing concrete boots or something.
No, we're not going to kill him.
You go to the car, Joe,
Yeah.
and when you get to the car, a little part of you sort of breaks inside because you see that your car has been vandalized. The tyres have been slashed, and there's a messy smear across the front windshield. A finger painting done what looks like blood, and the
This guy's dead.
image resembles a many-eyed dragon.
Shit.
Not a toad.
No. Okay. See if I've got.
Is
Right,
this music out of
LA Noir, yeah.
Yeah.
Do a sanity check, by the way, Joe. Just.
Yeah, first, yeah. Yeah.
Pride and joy. No, that is almost a fumble, but not quite. You lose 1 point of sanity from seeing your car like this.
My blood and royal father, you've touched my feathers. He's gonna go and try and like rub off all the blood immediately, but yeah, it doesn't get enough, I guess. 1 point of sanity.
Have we all seen this, or is it just?
Yeah, you can all see it. Yeah, it's
Okay.
not.
Then yeah, Randolph would look to Tala and just say,
Mhm.
"Ain't that the symbol you saw? You saw many times in the asylum? Many eyes."
Yeah, it's what they were all drawing.
Well, I thought it was just patients, but I don't think the patients are allowed out. Someone's drawn it on his car. If it's this guy, "Do you draw this?" He'd address the orderly.
Did you vandalize my friend's car?
He just he
Joe
just
Brown rolls at
he's stony face. He just doesn't reply. Do an intimidation check again, Oggy, though, if you'd want. See if you can get any.
Just imagine Joe getting his gun out.
Yep. He's too sad.
Hard success. He just goes, "What of it?"
He's gonna whack him in the face with the base of his pistol.
Okay, do roll another D4 for me.
Joe, do you not think you're taking this a little bit
2
far?
points of damage.
No. And Oki's like, "You vandalized my friend's car. You're gonna say sorry to him and stop acting like a little toad."
I really wanted you to say a little bitch then.
He sort of looks down for a moment with Oggy's sort of intimidating presence and just looks up to Joe and doesn't say anything.
Well, who does this to a poor innocent car? So well maintained. And Joe's just hugging his car. Got
Randolph
his tools out.
would be like, "I think, friend, you can see that you haven't best pleased these two fellas, and the large one's damn near looking to take your head off if you're not careful. So why don't you make your night easier for yourself and just let us know why you're drawing strange creatures on people's cars, and who told you to follow us in the first place?"
Do a persuade roll for me.
Come on, Randy. Damn it.
Have a bonus die actually, because of his position. It's still a failure.
49.
Do you want to spend 9 luck?
Yes.
Okay. With that,
13. Lucky number 13.
he doesn't really say anything in response, but he, in response to what he would just say, "I have my orders." And you can also do a psychology check with a bonus die, Randolph.
Good. Nope.
Okay. You do get the impression that even with a failure, I think you get the impression that he's something's sort of scared. He looks scared.
Yeah.
He just looks scared in general. I'll let with you deal with that information as you would. But he just says, "'Cause I was told to."
Tell you to do the drawing too.
He just nods.
That is interesting. Well, we're left in a bit of a sticky situation.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with him. If he's got orders, then he's got to report back. Can't be having that.
Yeah. Does he look weird? Is he got a bit ear bitten off or something like that?
You look him over and he doesn't.
Okay.
Randolph would huddle around with people out of earshot of the guy, who I'm assuming is safely manacled, and just say, "I think he's more scared of Dr. Berger than he is of us. And I don't think any amount of physical encouragement's gonna change that."
I know, I was just pissed off at Joe. Look at that thing all over his taxi. Disgraceful.
Yeah, Randall nods. Randall? Well,
I'll pay for you to get it cleaned up, Joe, don't worry.
I should be able to get it fixed really soon. It's just sad to see it like this.
if he's more scared of Burger, maybe we could make some headway by shifting him, offering him sanctuary or a way out of that situation.
Maybe if he tells us some stuff up front, like good ways in and out, then we can promise that.
Maybe. I dealt
Then
with people like him before when they got the boss leaning on him. I'm afraid it's often the salesperson having to extend the olive branch first. You gotta get them feeling safe before they'll open up.
Well, if he's an orderly, I can't imagine he has the keys out with him, but he might know where they are.
Oh, I'm sure he's got plenty useful for us. It's just breaking that spell of fear and whatever else is going on. I
Alright,
reckon we gotta try and make nice.
I'll stand off a bit, Stilford. Silford.
Alright.
I might just upset him more.
Yeah. Randolph would. He kind of look to Tala. Be like, how'd you feel about playing nice?
Depends how nice you think.
Nothing crazy. I just think if this guy's been, you remember how weird that place felt? If this guy's been spending his days wandering around there and being bossed around by Dr. Berger, I think he needs some TLC to break the spell and get him talking. Maybe we take him to a diner, buy him some food. He's got a new best friend, a very pretty lady.
Oh, this is gonna suck.
Yeah. You ain't gotta do nothing, obviously. Just,
Well, I'm very glad to hear that.
yeah. I just think that's the way we gotta go. He feels like a client that needs the carrot rather than the stick.
Right, I'll let you take the handcuffs off him when you feel comfortable, but I'll be keeping my eye on him.
Of course. Yeah, Randolph would turn around towards the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, you had a tough day. My name's Randy. What's yours?
My name's Marcus. Marcus
Marcus.
O'Malley.
I often think a good way to see away a tough day is to have some wholesome American grub. Maybe sit somewhere comfortable. How's that sound?
Do a charm, bro.
Hey-ya!
Hard
Oh,
success. He says, yeah, that sounds better than sitting on the sidewalk. You gonna take these handcuffs off me?
sure. And he'd remove the handcuffs.
Yeah, Elkie would give him a key.
Yeah.
Just be like looming over the guy.
He kind of looks away for a second to the street and then sort of looks back to you, Randolph, and then
Yep.
sort of just kind of nods and says thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Mm.
Tough gig working up at the old asylum,
Mm-hmm.
but let's get in out of the cold. Miss Ray, care to accompany us?
Certainly. Is there anything I can get you, sir?
Do a charm roll as well with a bonus die, Tala.
Mm-hmm. A charm roll. No, don't need to do that. Sorry, I've got that.
If they're going to charm him, Augie would say to Joe, like,
Tala.
let's go get your car cleaned up, Joe.
How do I do a bonus?
Just click the little where it says bonus penalty below. But you got a pretty good roll. Yeah, I mean 20 is better. So, your hard success. He says, I haven't had a slice of pizza in a while.
I'm sure we can find ourselves a pizza joint round here somewhere. What do you think, boys?
Thank God Augie isn't there. Pizza? You some kind of Italian?
I reckon I know just the place.
Yeah, and you find a local pizzeria joint. Take Marcus inside, sort of sit down, order a slice of pizza for each of you. Sitting in a booth, he starts sort of. You have it brought over to you, big slice of cheese pizza, and he just starts eating it. What you gonna do with me?
Nothing. We just want some answers.
You have to understand, Marcus. We're good folk. We're just trying to figure out what's going on. Kind of got a bad feeling up at the old asylum. I meant it when I said it must be tough working there.
It is.
Each day having to deal with trouble above.
Yeah. And trouble within. Too. Weighs heavy on your mind. Real heavy. Like a splitting migraine.
Well, Miss Ray and I were just talking about this the other day. We were saying how often something that weighs on you helps to let it out. I've had a number of tough clients in my time. Frustrated with myself. I found it much better when you share the burdens around.
Do another charm or persuade check. With a bonus die as well. Just the situation.
It's better. Charm. I'm gonna do persuade. No!
Same, 46. Just spend luck.
Spend 6 luck. I'm so luck trigger happy.
It's okay. What did you say again?
To share the burden around that he had when he's been frustrated before. Spoken with he and Miss Ray were talking about how it's best to share the burdens around.
He sort of sighs slightly and just says, "It's a tough job. Like I said, feels like a migraine, splitting headache. Just from the stress."
What's making you so stressed, Marcus?
I don't know. I guess it's just a feeling of something. I'm working too much, I guess. A lot of responsibility to Dr. Berger and to all the patients.
Yeah, those patients must be real tricky prospects sometimes. Any patients in particular got any stories?
All kinds you wouldn't even believe.
You might be surprised. Trying to sell your wares to the people of this fine nation. There's some real characters out there.
Seen a man gouge his own eyes out with his own thumbs.
Randolph, chokes on his pizza. Well, that's quite a story, Marcus. You ever think about taking a break from it all?
Yeah, sometimes. I'd like to move back home to Mississippi.
A long way from here.
Yeah.
How'd you end up working at Danvers?
Sort of fell into it. friend of mine here offered me the job. Good pay. Compared to what I was doing anyway.
Well, listen, I think for unwinding, I know it's still early, but perhaps we could steady our nerves after a crazy little chase like that with a drink or two. What'd you say, Miss Ray?
I ain't no one for breaking the law.
Oh yeah, shit.
Puts the hip flask away.
Back in. Oh, of course. Cigarette, perhaps?
Yeah, I could go for a cigar or two.
Yeah, Randolph would hand one over from his little case.
Yeah,
Light it for him.
he puffs it down enthusiastically.
Just trying to think.
Yeah, go for it. Take your time. Feel free to meta talk if you need to.
Don't know how hard to press him. And press him on
I
what?
feel like you have to press him a bit, otherwise it's just like you're taking him on the world's most depressing date.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think it's important to think, what do you want out of him as well? What
Yeah.
realistically do you want out of him?
A way in, anything that would help get in, I think. I mean, this guy seems like if he's got any cult stuff, if he knows what it is, he's probably pretty low down.
Yeah.
Probably asking about maybe locks, who has keys, things like that. If might not give you that, but
Yeah, he's got a sense of like needing to tread fairly lightly with him.
You could ask him where he goes at the hospital to de-stress, because it's probably a quite secluded place that you can get to.
I was thinking that. Or if there's anywhere he and his colleagues, his buddies at the place go to.
Yeah.
What about Tala? Tala, got any thoughts on what to ask him, or any ways to try and persuade him to loosen up a little?
What is the weird stuff going on?
Tell me the weird things.
Tell me, little Loci.
could ask him more about the drawing. Like, what is it? How
Yeah,
is
that's a
everyone
good one.
drawing it? You know.
So Randolph would press on 2 points then. I like both of those.
Mm-hmm.
He'd do it in a very kind of like commiserating manner. He'd be like, man, that drawing's weird. It must feel weird having to draw it. Like, what do you think about it? Kind of thing.
He would
go on, yeah.
He would say, Dr. Berger said to draw it. Said it was a threat. I don't know what it means. Some of the patients have been drawing him too. I think Dr. Berger, and then he sort of goes quiet.
Think Dr. Berger. What, Marcus? We're just eating pizza here. No need to
do another charm roll for me with a bonus die, I'd say.
I'm the most charming man in the world, Marcus. Yeah. Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
You can easily say, I won't even make you make a check. You've already discerned that he's obviously scared of Dr. Berger.
He would then, so that he would divert away from that and go back to the whole stress thing and be like, oh, you guys must have somewhere you all go to let the stress out, to cut loose. Where do you guys go?
Usually in the boiler house. We've got some offices in there. There's a there's some reception rooms in there, and we've got some business offices on the lower floor. Sometimes I just go take my breaks in there.
What if you need a smoke? You allowed to smoke in there? I know some hospitals don't like it.
In the boiler house we can. Separate building out the back.
Separate building.
The
Bang.
on the north side it's it's less the headaches are not as bad there. Something in the air or something in the main building.
How long you been there, Marcus?
Ooh. Good.
Kind of thinks for a second. Says about just gonna quickly check my notes so I'm not fucking anything up timing wise.
200 years.
Since the beginning of time.
And he melts in a puddle.
Yeah.
Randy's like, fuck this.
Well, that was intense.
It ain't over yet.
No, I'm thinking about the guy melting.
Oh.
That's pretty intense.
Yep. Scoop him up into a mug.
I think he'd say about 5 years, but that may be slightly wrong. But I don't want to delay too long. I think he'd say about 5 years.
What the reason? Yeah, I mean, there's a few reasons to ask, but the main one that occurred to me, to Randy, is whether he was there when the disc was broken.
He'd say disc. I don't know of any disc.
Big granite disc used to be up on Cathorn Hill.
What you mean? Where the amphitheater is?
That's right.
I was. They built it about 6 years ago, I think.
Alright. You ever go wandering up there or use the amphitheater much?
Sometimes I take the patients up there for story times and such. Not often, no.
How's your head feel when you're wandering around up there?
Not good.
What stories?
What kind of stories do you tell them? Nice ones, I hope.
Yeah, just kid stories, that kind of stuff. Anything to calm 'em down.
You ever have much interaction with a patient named Winscott? Josh Winscott?
He's one of the newest ones. He's moved. Dr. Berger wanted him moved to high security ward. Said he was said he was a threat to himself, and that he'd be kind of looks down for a second. Do another charm or persuade check.
Oh, Tom, I had a question you could ask him. You could ask him whether he thinks that the right patients are in the right wings.
You can have a bonus die just because of the situation. You've done really well, so you can keep having bonus dice. No, unfortunately. He looks to you. He sort of again stops himself from speaking.
Yeah, I used to work for a.
If Tala wants to interject at any point with this, she can also make a roll.
Get charming. Tala Ray, charm away.
there's trouble here is that I myself am not particularly charming, so I don't really entirely know how to do it.
You can just say you try to charm him.
I'm gonna try and charm him.
Yeah, make a charm roll for me. I'll say without a bonus die, because Randolph has been leading this, really. Just a regular roll.
I'm going to try and be charming.
Hard success.
Yeah.
So, you sort of maybe put a hand on him to sort of calm him slightly and make a little connection. And, he just says, Dr. Berger said he'd be a good, something about research or practices or something. I think he thought that his condition was, something of note or something. I don't know exactly.
See. Really sounds like Dr. Berger gets involved with all the decisions. I know when I had a hard ass of a boss, sometimes I thought I could run the place much better if I was left to my own devices. You think all the patients are where they belong, Marcus? You think Josh Winscott belongs in J Ward?
I mean, I've seen much worse people go to J Ward, to be honest with you. I didn't. He's been awful cooperative when I've spoken to him.
Good to know.
Yeah, that does sound like Josh.
I know he wanted to leave, but Dr. Berger said his condition was progressing too fast.
Well, what was he diagnosed with? What was the condition that Dr. Berger said that he had?
I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Well, if
I've
you're
got-
feeling stressed, Marcus, I imagine how the whole weight of the institution's feeling on old Bergy Boy's shoulders. Maybe he needs a bit of a break. We don't always make all the right decisions when we're stressed.
Right. Probably true.
Maybe he's got this one wrong.
Maybe.
I've got a question that you
Okay.
could ask.
Yeah.
Pizza good?
What? Pizza good?
Is the pizza good? No. Sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, that would have been part of Randy's like spiel, trying to like.
Yeah,
charm him and
absolutely.
stuff. I think Randy's going to take the plunge a little bit and say, you see, Marcus, we happen to think that Dr. Berger has made a mistake, and I'm sure it's not an easy job running a place like Danvers, but Mr. Winscott's of interest to us, and we're quite keen to see him, well, to certainly see him not on J Ward anymore. So if you had any ideas or thoughts about the best way to go about helping old Mr. Winscott, your ideas would be most appreciated, and certainly worth another slice of pizza if you fancied it.
I think it'd be worth an awful lot more than that, mister.
Well, now you're speaking my language, Marcus. A businessman. What was your thinking?
I need enough money to get out of this place and go home. Quite frankly.
Certainly sounds like a good idea for your health, Marcus. I think that's a wise decision. Have you considered all your financial options and landed on a figure?
Yeah. I'm just gonna. I'm so bad with values from this era still.
No, not at all.
I think he would say a number that is.
Randolph has $28.
I think he'd.
$28 in a dream.
Let me just quickly check how much is what I think he would be. Oh, if this is a reasonable ask. Oh. Da-da-dam.
Value of $1 in 1924 was about $17.
Well, Marcus,
I think he'd
we did
probably.
have a perfectly good taxi to take you to Mississippi, but someone slashed the tires.
Oh, just let's chat GPT. Why does it give such fucking ridiculous responses? Fuck's sake, I don't care about the fucking. Okay.
I've
The
basically
economy in 1924.
been playing too much Red Dead Redemption, where basically no money's enough money.
I think he'd probably say around $40. I think he wants about, which is equivalent to about $500 of today's money.
So how do we determine how much we have? Because I've got spending level 10, cash.
Spendle
6.
living is how much you can spend a day.
Okay.
So your it'll just let me quickly put the rules for this.
I think you can spend that much without it affecting your cash or
Yeah,
asset. But if you spend more than that, you have to dip into your actual
assets. Yeah. So day-to-day expenses, general living standards. Spending beyond one's limit. When an investigator spends an amount beyond the limit, the player must reduce their cash by the full amount spent. If the cash is insufficient, the investigator must seek to use their assets. Converting assets into cash can take time. How long is up to the keeper?
Well, we all get about $10 a day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that nearly covers it.
Yeah, so you got to think we've been kind of hand waving, like
Yeah.
I bought him pizza. That's like a
Yeah.
quarter or something.
And Joe Brown's about to buy 4 new tyres.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So let's say, let me just look at Randy's for an example, or Oggy's for an example, actually.
God, I do have
Yeah,
a
I think
baseball card,
it'd be basically. I think this would be beyond your spending level. So I think you'd have to take some of it from your cash. So for example, Oggy's got $30 in cash, Randy's got 28. So you'd have to split. You could probably, I mean, one of you could spend it all, but it's probably not a great idea. Is to split some of this. I mean, Tyler's got $94 in cash, so it's not
Oh
bad
my
at all.
god.
Do you believe?
Have I? Bloody hell.
Yeah, and I think actually he'd probably ask for about $1,000 worth in current days money. So I'm just going to say he can ask for $100. So it's asking for quite a lot.
I've got some of Thingy's baseball card collection, but I don't want to sell it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Milton would want that if it helps trying to solve.
Plus, you'd have to go and sell it, which takes time. Which
It takes
you know
fucking ages.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of cost of moving is the housing and travel, right? So we can give him free travel.
What do you mean
When I
free?
pick it up.
Well, it will also take you out of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've only got 2 days until the moon. The moon!
The moon.
I'm happy giving $10.
Yeah.
If we all
$10.
give $10 out of our cash.
Well, he wants 100 now, doesn't he?
Oh shit.
Yeah, I think you'd want about 100. Seeing your cash levels, I think you'd want about 100.
I'll give 20.
So 20 from Randy.
50.
So I'm confused with what it means. So you reduce your cash.
Just look at your
by-
cash levels for now. Don't worry about the rest of it. It's too late to worry about rules for this right now. But look at your cash level and see how much you're willing to take off your cash.
Is it permanently gone? How'd you get it?
Yes, we'll worry about that later.
Oh.
To do with assets and stuff. We'll worry about that.
$25.
Cool. So how much did Tala say? Hello,
50.
Ray.
50.
Oh, shit.
50.
There you go. You willing
I said
to
that
part with
before anyone else did, but nobody's listening to me.
I think because
Thank
when you
you,
unmute, sometimes you speak too quickly and then it sort of cuts your voice half off. Maybe.
You willing to part with $5, Joe?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so with that, if you take that off your cash, then he would
I'm down to $8.
say,
I got loads. I got 60.
Oh, all right. Are you saying that to say you're going to give more, or
Wait, what the fuck?
I gave 20 out of 28?
Yeah, I was just wondering if it's
Yeah,
permanent.
94.
yes, it's permanent.
I'll give 15.
Oh, what?
Wait, okay, let's balance this out. So you got 60.
Yeah.
Tyler's got 90.
But Joe's tyres did get slashed, so I
Yes.
imagine he would be more reluctant.
So why don't we do 20, 20, 20, and then Tyler gives 40 if you're happy to?
Yeah,
Tyler?
okay.
Okay.
Not lucky. I don't really want to give him anything, to be honest.
I understand. I mean,
Oh,
to be
with the
fair, in this
tyres,
situation, it's only me and Tyler in the actual
Yeah.
restaurant, but
But
you
you-
best believe I'll be coming up afterwards being like, yep, you owe me $20.
You could gather that stuff. I'm not gonna. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be a hot hand wavy. So in that case, what would you want to? What would you want from him? Because he's accepted your bribe. So what would you want from him as a result?
Oh, everything. Yeah, now we're in this territory, and he can just cut loose. It's gonna be how many orderlies and like guards are there? What's their rotations? How is it at night? Who's got key? Like, I've got loads of questions.
Okay. Well, I think with that then, because we are going over time,
Yeah.
that
Should we
we'll
compile a list of
compile a
questions
list
for
for
next
me
session?
for next session, and then we can
Cool.
approach that as we will. But yeah, for now, we will end the session there.
Nice.